After 4 days of intense discussion, intervention and negotiations on multilateral and bilateral issues, some key developments as it relates to the Ukraine file, after President Ramaphosa met with President Zelenskyy on Wednesday.
He now is ready for negotiations without any preconditions and urges us to put the same message across to President Putin, which we will and which we continue to. So our role in this whole drama is to try and see how best we can get the parties to talk and to negotiate. And we've even offered that should they find the need for a venue, South Africa is well known as a venue that can be utilized. Many other conflicts were well resolved because people came to South Africa.
Immediately raising the question as to whether President Putin would be able to travel to South Africa, a states party to the Rome Statute, due to an international criminal court warrant for his arrest. But Article 16 of the statute does allow for a caveat to the enforcement of the warrant, allowing the UN Security Council to adopt a resolution requesting the court to suspend processes of investigation and prosecution for a period of 12 months in terms of the Council's mandate of maintaining international peace and security. That would need consensus from the Council, in particular from the permanent 5 members, meaning that in theory, South Africa could very well be a venue for future peace talks if the two warring parties agreed. On the bilateral trade negotiations with the United States, Ramaphosa said the talks were moving towards detailed text-based negotiations as he struck an optimistic tone.
It basically means that we're not just talking, we're now more focused, basing everything we talk about on text, and which should lead to some measure of finality. And obviously, we want the tariffs that to be removed or to be reduced. That is our strategic objective. But we also want to deal with all the other issues that have to do with trade and how we facilitate trade between the two countries and how we also facilitate investments. We would like to see more investments from the United States into South Africa. And similarly, they would like to see investments from South Africa into the United States, and how we also remove the various barriers, because they are not only trade barriers.
He also participated in a G20 ministerial meeting hosted by his international relations minister, where a senior US State Department official accused the G20 of drifting from its core remit.
Allow me to highlight 3 ways our presidency will differ from recent ones. First, we will re-center the G20 on its core economic mission. We will not spend hours debating out-of-touch social initiatives disconnected from growth and stability. Instead, we will concentrate on priorities that directly strengthen our economies and benefit our citizens. In other words, no diversity, equity, and inclusion or gender-responsive budgeting. Second, we will streamline the G20's processes. We will reduce the proliferation of working groups, cut back on bureaucratic excess, and sharpen our lines of effort.
This was Ramaphosa's response.
It's a call for people to be treated on an equal basis. And we as South Africans say this advisedly because as a nation we suffered under the brand and the horror of unequal treatment. So we advocate for this from our own experience, from our own knowledge. And the issue of diversity and, if you like, solidarity, we do believe that the strong must help the weak. The powerful must help the weak. And the rich must also help the poor.
President Ramaphosa is expected to arrive back in South Africa on Friday evening. Sherwin Riceby's SABC News, New York.